Alright, welcome back to another episode of Mixtapes and Mistakes. This is Ed. So we're doing something different today. We're going to talk about, instead of me giving opinions on songs, we're going to talk about the stories behind some of these songs. So, in the last video we talked about what comprises a good cover song. Good cover songs kind of, they tend to not be bad. And what I mean by that is, like in the bad cover songs list, you had songs that where the artist made the song their own, put their spin on it, did a more faithful recreation of the cover, but something went left, as they say, like with the Duran Duran cover. On the good covers list, what you have are songs that do all of those things, but don't make the mistake of not either matching the artist or the artist not doing a good job on the song. Stuff like Foo Fighters doing Darling Nikki, Blackberry Smoke doing the Tom Petty cover, which I think is amazing. When we talk about all-time great songs, what we're talking about with those songs is songs that are the definitive version of a song. The first song we're going to talk about, and it's probably the best example of what we're going to talk about, is All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. So Bob Dylan originally wrote that song on his, let me go back because I've got this, you know, see, I've got this over here. This is what I want you to do research and you can make sense of what you're talking about. So Dylan originally wrote the song in '67. And a ton of people have recorded it. It's Hendrix's only top 40 hit in the US. And what's interesting about the song is the original song is really slow. And what you have to remember, what a lot of people, I didn't know until I started doing the research for it, is that Jimi Hendrix was a huge Dylan fan. And what he defended Dylan as a songwriter and an artist because to quote him, he said, "Sometimes I like to play Dylan songs, and there's so much like me that it seems like to me that I wrote them. I have a feeling that Watchtower is a song that I could have come up with, but I'm sure I would have never finished it. Thinking about Dylan, I often consider that I'd never be able to write the words he manages to come up with, but I'd like him to help me because I have loads of songs I can't finish." He'd been working off and on with the members of the band Traffic when he was recording the Electric Ladyland sessions. And so Dylan's the album that came out at the time he's recording it is John Wesley Harding, which has this song on it. And what's very interesting is that Dave Mason, who recorded... Dave Mason, who's was in... He ends up playing on the song, actually. He's Dave Mason's Traffic's guitarist. He brought the song to Dylan, or he brought the song to Hendrix. And what it was he was at a club, Hendrix was at a club, he's like, to quote him, he's like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to walk over there and say hi to him." So he does. And they talk about it. And what's interesting is that Dylan... To actually quote Bob Dylan in this, it's in a 1995 interview with the Sun Sentinel. Dylan described his reaction to hearing Hendrix's version. He's like, "It overwhelmed him. He had such talent. He could find things inside a song and vigorously developed them. He found things that other people wouldn't think of finding in there. He probably improved upon it by the spaces he was using. I took license with the song from his version, and actually I continue to do it to this day." And it's the way Dylan has played it since I think about 84 or 85. He's been playing it this way forever. There's one of the tidbits that I want to talk about in that song, but that's pretty much it. It's when there's an original song and Dylan's version is really, really slow. Hendrix completely redoes it. He adds a wah-wah pedal to it. What else did he do to this song? It's a whole thing that he did to it that I wrote down. Yeah, Mason plays rhythm on a 12 string on that. He completely rearranged the song. Oh, yeah. Hendrix actually plays bass on the original track, which I did not know. That's crazy. So that's so and the problem is the reason why that happened is his bassist, Noel Redding, he didn't like the way that Redding played because Redding was actually in a band called called Fat Mattress. That's the actual name of the band. And Hendrix felt like Redding didn't put his heart into the bass and was concerned that he was concentrating on his own band versus being in the experience. So this is how you get replaced in an old time band by Billy Cox. So that's all on the Watchtower. The next song, and I actually have this on another list in another format. So, "Blinded by the Light" by Manfield Mann was originally done by Bruce Springsteen. Here's the interesting thing about it. So Manfield Mann had, I thought before I started doing the research on this, and I've even talked about this song in other contexts, and it never really delved into Manfield Mann as an artist. Turns out that dude's whole career is cover songs. He covered 2 Dylan songs in the 2 decades previous to this, in like the 50s and 60s, and had nominal like top 20 hits on Dylan songs. And so he comes to this song. He's like, I'm just gonna. What's interesting about the fact of Manfield Mann's Earth Band making this a hit is it's on Springsteen's first album, Welcome to Asbury Park. Oh, excuse me, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. And what's funny is that so Springsteen records it, Manfield Mann buys it, he hears it, and it's the last song he really wants to record. There's 2 or 3 other songs on that album that he wants to do. But he decides, okay, I'm just going to do it. So he does it. He rearranges the song. He puts his own spin on it, which is what you're supposed to do, and puts it on a record and is done with it, and puts it out there. And originally, a lot of southern radio stations won't play it because the way it sounds on a record, when you hear this song, it comes off as wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. And the reason that happened was he blames it on the azimuth and the tape that he recorded on, and for him trying to do like an Alan Partridge imitation when he's trying to do the song. It also turns out that when he had heard the song before he recorded, because he bought the album, he'd listened to it and everything like that, but he never really paid attention to the lyrics. The lyrics are actually all things around Springsteen's life. Madman Drummers Bummers, which is a reference to Vinny the Mad Dog Lopez, who's Springsteen's first drummer in the E Street Band. Indians in the Summer was Bruce's Little League baseball team. There's a lot of personal references in the song. Silicon Sister, it's arguably Bruce's first mention of breast implants in popular music. But it's about a strip club dancer that he knew. So what's crazy is that he just messed up the song. He just screwed it up. And what's interesting about it is, even Springsteen now jokes about it, but originally they were going to have Springsteen sing verses on the song. What happened was Springsteen just didn't answer the phone. He called him up and it didn't happen. Like Bruce was like, hello, and hung up on him thinking, oh, that's just a prank call. It's actually Manfield Mann going, hey, can you play on this song? There's also a movie that came out last year called Blinded by the Light, which is pretty much this song is the key plot point in the movie. It's a movie set in England in the 80s, and it's centered on a Pakistani kid who's energized and lightened by his friend giving him a Springsteen cassette tape. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if it's actually Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. It would be actually kind of cool if he did. So those are. I cannot believe I only got through a couple of songs on this because I'm close to the end here. That's those couple of songs. What's interesting about these songs is that they're the definitive versions of songs for people. Most people probably, but more people know now, I think, that Manfield Man that Blinded by the Light is a cover song. I'm not sure that it was a situation, because I literally, before I did this research, I thought this was his only hit, and I really thought that he was just a one-hit wonder. And that didn't happen. So, that's this video. It was only a couple of songs, there's a lot of information. The next video we're going to do right after is probably going to cover 3 or 4 other songs. And the stories behind these songs I find super fascinating. There are going to be 2 songs I'm going to cover in the next video that have Aretha Franklin as the central plot point in these songs. So that's going to be in the next video, which is coming up shortly. Tell me what you think about when you think about all-time classic songs. You can leave your ideas in the comments below. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this video, and tell your friends about it. And that's it for this episode of Mixtapes and Mixtapes, talking about all-time covers. We will talk to you soon in the next video.